Let's continue our discussion, module 3, talking about DNS in Sandbox. And we are going to talk about something relatively new, but it is not completely and specifically in Sandbox. We have a concept named fakeip, which was a global object in Sandbox, but has been removed and moved to part of the DNS server that we can define a fake IP. From the beginning, if we look at that, it's a little bit somehow ambiguous, or probably I thought the very first time I saw that I thought it's kind of DHCP returning some kind of, instead of rejection, return some other IPs that doesn't exist. But the workflow and the design is much more interesting. Also, you can see, for example, fake DNS in X-ray is called fake DNS. Fake DNS is used to obtain target domain name by forging DNS, which can reduce the delay in DNS, which is one of the somehow reasons and features of fake DNS or fake IPs. Clash also has this fake range, but you can search about it. I mean, ask the AIs, and somehow I will be talking about the two key characteristics of a fake IP. And also in Sandbox itself, I mean, that diagram that we were talking about, the DNS hijacking, you can see that examples basic tone for Chinese users. It has IP version 4, IP version 6, and fake IP. And this is the fake IP, remote fake IP. We're going to copy that. We already talked about the DNS role and queries, and we're going to test this fake IP, and the workflow and somehow behavior is really interesting. And most of the time, if you know what it's doing, you're going to like it. So from the previous session, we had the server, so we change it to, for example, it can be Google, but we try to use fake IP. So fake IP. Uh, uh, and then we are going to add it here. So fake IP, and change the remote tag to fake IP. Fake IP. So it says the tag is fake IP, type is fake IP, and the range for IP version 4 and the range for IP version 6. We already said this is a DNS role action. It's a general one which somehow captures or intercepts any query for IP version 4 and IP version 6. So everything is going to be returned for any domain that somehow Sandbox is going to hijack. Here we have the hijack section. Any domain name that are hijacked, Sandbox is going to return a fake IP. And here I don't have a ton interface. Still, I'm using port 53 for listening for DNS. Let's try it and see what it does. If I query, so on my host, on my machine, nothing. If I dig 127.0.0.1, and then the IP that's me, interestingly, it returns the 198.18.0.3. If we check that, it matches the sniffing, and then the protocol is DNS. Because of this, it matches again the protocol. DNS hijacks the DNS, it goes to the DNS module, and it try to, for example, resolve the A and for IP version 6 and IP version 4 with the fake IP. And fake IP is going to return IP.me for the IP.me 198.18.0 and 3. But we know if we try to connect to this IP, it doesn't exist. So it's a non-existent IP. We do not have access to that. It's just kind of, if you know about networking, it's a kind of virtual IP. But here we cannot really and fully test that. Probably using 2080 we can test that. Again, no, because it has been designed for working with TON interface. So I have the TON. I'm going to copy the TON interface, which is a full tunnel, auto route, and strict route. They have been enabled. So copy, paste here, not actually paste here, and remove this part. We do not need it. So a little bit shift to right. That's it. So we have the fake IP, and everything that comes here hijacked by the DNS comes here, and it's going to be resolved with the fake IP. And then the ton interface, which means everything is going to listen for every queries and everything that comes to the sandbox. So, and also notice that we have domain resolvers for the proxy that we have, which is Google directly. It's not fake IP. Also for the direct one, it's also Google, not the fake IP. So let's run it again one more time, and let's curl IP. That's me. Also, let's run the server here, and let's check for the curl. So it comes here, and then it says this is the proxy server IP. But interestingly, if we check the somehow request, we can see curl is going to resolve it to 198.18.04, and also curl is going to connect that, and somehow curl thinks that the real IP is 198.18.04. But if we curl to this IP directly, port 80, it doesn't do anything, because it doesn't, because sandbox internally maps the IP to the host name or to the domain name, to the virtual IP or to the fake IP. So internally it knows which domain has been mapped to which IPs or fake IPs. So if we use sandbox itself, it returns or works correctly. But if we do not use that and directly try to connect to the IP, it doesn't work, which is a security feature. For example, if we have some application on my host and they want to bypass the DNS hijacker in Sandbox, they have to find the real IP address. For example, they try to dig like google.com, and then they have to, for example, connect TCP or whatever it is to this IP. And Sandbox doesn't allow that, because it should provide a domain name, and if we provide domain name, Sandbox is going to hijack it. So that's the reason, for security reason and for performance. For performance, we can check that IP.me, check the response time query, it's 0 milliseconds, so it can be cached. Meanwhile, or asynchronously, the real IP address is going to be resolved. Sandbox keeps them in a kind of map or kind of cache. So when we query for IP.me, it's going to send us retrieve the fake IP, gives it to curl, but internally knows which IP the actual packet should be routed to. So it's really fast. And also we have kind of obfuscated or somehow masqueraded the real IP for the IP domain.me. And the way it works, if we check it, for example, if we curl, I mean internally it uses the host. If we curl this IP, for example, check at see the server side, it says that tries to connect with IP.me, because curl internally knows this is the IP map to the IP.me, but since doesn't send the host one, the server doesn't know how to resolve that. But if we actually, this is the way of bypassing the sandbox. If I provide the host header to IP.me, because I send the host with the curl, so it's going to be resolved. Host is IP.me. This is going to be resolved. So that's the sandbox doesn't allow, but in this way, which not everyone is able to do this, and not client know this, we can realize that based on the host, it's going to resolve that. If we do not provide the host, it doesn't know where to find this and what kind of host it has this IP associated with. So this was also an overview of the fake IP. This is a kind of best practice to use and apply. So we have a much more higher performance in terms of DNS query, also for security reason, and other application in that host they cannot directly bypass, or it makes it really harder for them to bypass and query direct to the IP they want. Anywhere you're seeing the video, please share your thoughts and comment. Also, we have a Telegram group, Ton tab. So Ton tab. Also, we have a repository on GitHub, on my repository, on my profile. ton tab that you can ask questions about sandbox or other proxies. Specifically, the whole group in Telegram is about Linux networking and security. Thank you for watching. Let's continue our journey talking about Sandbox Advanced, Sandbox Proxy Advanced.